you will have the various bands of it. Okay. Now, the fourth step is loading of sample. The samples are loaded in each well with equal amount of protein mixture using a micro pipette. You have to be very careful while loading the sample. You should not damage the size of well. You should not pour the sample out of well instead of pouring inside it. So you have to be very meticulous while pouring the sample in a sample well. Okay. At this stage, sample of proteins to be blue because of a dye, that is bromophenol. It is used while preparing the sample. Okay. So you have to be very careful while loading the sample. Okay, then next step is running the gel by applying voltage. Now we have applied a ladder as well as we have applied or we have loaded the sample in a given well. Okay, now we have to proceed for the process or technique of electrophoresis. We have to apply a voltage and through by applying that voltage under the influence of electric field, there will be the migration of various biomolecules. Okay. Voltage is applied after dipping the sandwich of gel and glass plates in running buffer. Turn on the voltage when tracking dye has reached or crossed the gel. Gel is further proceeded for the subsequent analysis. When the procedure is complete after particular time period, the time period is assigned. Okay. After that, there is a subsequent analysis. The gel is rinsed with deionized water 3 to 5 times to remove the SDS and the buffer. Okay. Now in gel we have that particular protein biomolecules which are separated according to their molecular weights. Okay. So the now the function of buffer and SDS is over. So we need to wash it off. And for washing this SDS and buffer, we are using deionized water. Approximately 3 to 5 times you have to wash the slide to remove SDS and buffer. Okay. It may create hindrance with the binding of dye. If SDS and buffer they are still present on the slide, the staining procedure may be interfered. Okay, so complete removal of SDS and buffer is recommended. The dye used over here is 0.1% commercial blue for the proteins. Okay, the gel is then dipped into the stain which is present in staining buffer on the shaking incubator at room temperature. Then the slide is deep in a staining buffer which has a promising blue stain. Okay. Invisible bands. After the staining, the invisible bands of proteins begin to appear within minutes. But it takes approximately 1 hour for complete staining. So the standing period is 1 hour. Okay. After the procedure of electrophoresis is completed, then we have to wash the slide thoroughly with deionized water to remove excessive SDS and buffer because it may interfere with staining. And as we cannot see the protein bands on gel as it is, we need to stain it. And the stain used is 0.1% commercial blue. Okay. So this is the complete procedure of SDS page. Okay, we will quickly revise that. First thing is we have to pour the resolving gel. After that, this is a running gel or resolving gel, and it is prepared with 2 glass plates, and there is a casting frame. Okay, After that, you are going to add the stacking gel. In stacking gel, you have to prepare wells with the help of spoon. Okay, and these are the sites where you're going to add the sample. After that, on extreme right side, you're going to add ladder. Okay, after that, you're going to add sample in these wells, and after that, you're going to apply the voltage. Okay, that is running the gel by applying voltage. Under the influence of electrical field, the biomolecules, the proteins will migrate according to their molecular size and they will form bands. But these bands are not visible with their eyes. They are white in color and the gel is also white. So we need to stand the slide so that we can see the bands. But prior to staining, we need to wash it thoroughly with deionized water, and then we have to dip the slide in staining buffer. The stain used is 0.1% Pharmacy Blue. Okay, understanding time for standing time in staining buffer is approximately 1 hour. Okay, so the 1 hour is required for the complete staining. Now coming to the applications of SDS page. Again, in exam point of view, this question is very important. What are the applications of SDS page? Okay. So the first one is, it is used to measure the molecular weight of a molecule. Okay, as we have seen, the smaller molecular weight biomolecules will migrate faster and their movement will be more as compared to large molecular weight molecules, they will migrate less. It is used to estimate the size of protein. Okay, the smaller size protein will have smaller molecular weight and they will migrate faster as compared to large size protein having large molecular weight, they will migrate slower. They are used, or it is used in peptide mapping. It is used to compare the polypeptide composition in different structures. Okay, it is used to estimate the purity of proteins. Then it is used in Western blotting and protein ubiquination. Okay. Then it is used in HIV test to separate the HIV proteins. Okay, so the particular biomolecule can be separated and can be obtained in pure form with the help of this SDS page. Okay. Then it is used in analyzing the size and number of polypeptide subunits. Okay, so a protein can have n number of polypeptide subunits, and analysis of these subunits can be done with SDS page. Okay, again this SDS page is used to analyze the post-translational modifications in a protein. So these are the applications of SDS page. Okay, is it clear to you? Now coming to the clinical aspect of this electrophoresis. So this is a slide. Okay, here is a positive charge and here is a negative charge. We apply the sample over here, and after the process of electrophoresis, we get the bands like this. Okay, so this is albumin, and with densitometry we get a curve like this. Okay, so the albumin, it has a what do you say, the amount of albumin is comparatively larger as compared to other proteins. This is the serum protein electrophoresis. Okay, so the second band is alpha 1. Okay, so alpha 1 serum protein, they are alpha 1 antitrypsin, thyroxine binding globulin, transcortin, etc. Okay, so they comprise of alpha 1 bond. This third bond is alpha 2 bond, which has heptoglobin, ceruloplasmin, alpha 2 macroglobulins, etc. Okay, so this is the third. Then this is a beta band, which has transferrin, beta lipoprotein, etc. Okay, and the last bond is gamma bond, and various immunoglobulins. These are in this gamma bond. So this is the electrophoresis of normal serum. Okay, it has a first. So the point of application is this origin. Here we have applied the sample. After that, the process of electrophoresis is done, and you get the 5 bands. Okay. On left side to positive towards anode, the first band is of albumin, second band is of alpha 1 protein, then third band is alpha 2 proteins, fourth band is beta, and the last one is gamma. Okay, so this is electrophoretic pattern of normal serum protein. Okay, now in acute inflammatory response, how is the electrophoretic pattern? C. Okay, so here the immediate response occurs with stress or acute inflammation, infection, injury, or surgical trauma. Okay, albumin may be normal or it can be comparatively reduced. Okay, you can see a gap over here. It is near normal but slightly lower than the normal. Okay, alpha 1 and alpha 2 globulins are raised over here. Rest of the things are normal. Okay, now in chronic inflammation, what is C? It is a late response. It is correlated with chronic infection, inflammation. Okay, autoimmune diseases, chronic liver diseases, chronic infections, cancers. This type of electrophoretic pattern is seen. Okay, normal to reduced albumin, increase alpha 1 and alpha 2 globulins, and there is a extensive rise in gamma globulin pattern. Okay, it is because of chronic inflammation, immunoglobulins levels are raised. So this third one is multiple myeloma. Okay, this is the normal serum plasma electrophoresis. This peak is of albumin, then alpha 1, alpha 2, beta, and this is gamma. Okay, but in multiple myeloma, as we have seen, IgM levels are very much raised. You can see a peak over here. Okay, it is just comparable with albumin. So the amount of IgM is very much raised in multiple myeloma, and there is, you can see the peak at gamma band. See, this gamma band is very much dense over here. After staining, you can see the gamma band, particularly IgM are raised in this. So what happens in nephrotic syndrome? Nephrotic syndrome is a kidney disorder, and in nephrotic syndrome, because of damage to glomerular membrane, there is a loss of protein. Okay, there is a proteinuria and the low molecular weight protein. That means the albumin is lost, and you can see this in this graph. Okay, so the level of albumin is comparatively low as normal. This peak is of normal, and in nephrotic syndrome you can see the albumin levels are lower. Okay, the loss of protein to the kidneys, proteinuria is there, leads to low protein levels in the blood. Synthesis caused large proteinuria is due to the increased permeability of filtering membrane of the kidney, which selectively filters only albumin and the other smaller molecules. Albumin has a small size and low molecular weight, so it is easily filtered through the damaged filtering member as compared to other large molecular weight protein. So preferably albumin and low molecular weight proteins are lost in urine. Okay. Alpha 2 component is sufficiently large so that it is not filtered and increased in synthesis because of its accumulation. Okay, the alpha 2 component of plasma proteins. It has a larger size and it is not filtered through glomerular filtering membrane. That's why it is accumulate. Okay, so in nephrotic syndrome, you can see fall in albumin level. Now this is the last slide showing the lipoprotein electrophoresis. Okay, so this is the point of application of sample and the mobility is towards positive electrode. Okay, so the first band we get is LDL, that is beta lipoprotein. Second band we get is pre-beta lipoprotein, that is VLDL, and the lipoprotein which have maximum mobility is HDL, and it is designated as alpha lipoprotein. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic presentation, and this is the electrophoretic pattern seen on a slide. Okay, so this is a point of application. This is beta lipoprotein, that means LDL, then pre-beta lipoprotein, that is VLDL, and this is alpha lipoprotein, that is HDL. So HDL has maximum mobility and LDL has lowest mobility. Okay, so that